Hello, I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner Elusive. Ellie for short. And today we are going to teach you how to encourage your rabbit to move around and get some exercise. If you are new to my channel, welcome. We give tips and tricks for how to make sure you have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscription button and the notification bell next to it so that you never miss any of our weekly videos. Why would you want to exercise your rabbit? Well, rabbits were made to run. They have a lot of energy. Their bodies were just physically made to be active. However, many pet rabbits end up sitting around a lot, whether it's because they don't have an appropriate enclosure or because they just don't have an incentive to get up and run around. So sometimes, maybe a rabbit's just being a little bit lazy. Like people, they just decide they want to sit around sometimes. So we as caretakers can make some changes to help encourage our rabbits to move around a little bit more often and get some of that awesome exercise that is so healthy for bunnies. So tip number 1. You want to make sure that you give your rabbit a lot of time to exercise. Rabbits actually need a lot of time out in a wider area to get their exercise because they are more sprinters than they are long distance exercisers. They will go on some short spurts of getting a lot of exercise. So for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, they'll be running around, zooming, getting exercise. But then they're going to go rest for the next 15 minutes, half an hour. Maybe then they'll do another spurt of going and exercising and running around and such. And that's just kind of how they get their exercise. It's not going to just be, if you let them out for an hour, they're going to get an hour of exercise. It's not going to work that way. So you really need to give your rabbit enough time so that they can have those little spurts of exercise in between their periods of rest. Ideally, this will be at least 4 to 5 hours a day where they can have a nice big area to exercise. Essentially, whenever time you are home, so in the morning before you get ready for work or after you come home from work, letting your rabbit out to exercise. Or if you happen to be working from home right now, the whole time you're at home, you can let your rabbit have the freedom to be out and exercise if they choose to. You also want to give your rabbit a variety of fun toys. Rabbits will all have their favorite toys, but what they feel like playing with at any given time is going to be different. Just like, a child is not going to be wanting to play with the same toy all the time. Think of your rabbit the same way. You want to give them different toys so that they can always be interested in something. Having this variety will help your rabbit stay active, stay playful, even when maybe they're bored of one of their toys. So when giving variety, you can give your rabbit some natural toys, some hay-based toys. You can give them hanging toys that they can pull on. You can give them puzzle toys that they can roll around. You can make cardboard toys for them and digging toys, and then have wooden chew toys. Just making sure you give your rabbit as much of a variety as possible so that they'll always be interested in something. Another idea that you can use to possibly exercise your rabbit is to bring them on leash walks outside. Now, this isn't something that I would necessarily recommend for every single rabbit. If you have a pretty shy rabbit or a pretty anxious rabbit, that is probably something you don't want to do right now. Like with Ellie, when I got her, she was super, super anxious, but even now, she can get startled very easily. She's not the kind of rabbit that I would recommend bringing on a leash walk, so we do not go on leash walks, but that is something that is possible, and it is a way you can give your rabbit some exercise. So what you want to do is get a harness for your rabbit. You do not want to use a collar, but but instead you want to get a harness, an H harness, so one that will cross over their chest. And with leash walking rabbits, instead of having it that you're leading your rabbit around, you actually want to basically follow your rabbit around. This will make sure that you don't end up accidentally injuring your rabbit by trying to drag them someplace where they don't want to go. It's more just to give them a chance to explore outside and find new scents and stuff to learn about in the outdoors. But you do want to make sure that any kind of plants or anything they have access to outside does not use any kind of poisonous fertilizers or pesticides or anything like that, because there's a lot of those that are not good for rabbits and can be toxic. So something to be careful for if you are bringing a rabbit outside. Another way you can encourage a rabbit to move around and be active is to give them platforms to go on. So a great way to do this is actually to use cat towers. They can be really fun ways for your rabbit to get onto multiple levels and bounce around, get different vantage points, and use their bunny energy to hop up on top of things and then back down. And it can actually be a lot of fun for rabbits, and it is great for their exercise. You can even create platforms with something as simple as cardboard boxes. You can put steps up to your bed or steps up to a sofa for your rabbit to go on. Things like that can be a great way to encourage your rabbit to go explore different levels of the room. If you have a yard, you can also create an outdoor rabbit run for your rabbit. Now, I recommend keeping your rabbit indoors on a regular basis, but if you can supervise your rabbit, then having an outdoor run is definitely an option for you. You want to do what you can to make the outdoor run as safe as possible, so make sure it's fenced off. And if you can, even try to put some kind of covering over the top, or at least the top of most of it, so you don't have to worry about possible predator birds. And you'll of course want to make sure any plants that your rabbit has access to are safe for them, and you don't use any dangerous pesticides or fertilizers around where your rabbit is going to be. The next tip I have for you that can be an option for helping your rabbit get some exercise and stay healthy is to train your rabbit. So training rabbits can be a whole lot of fun. You can train them to do cute tricks like giving you kisses or giving you high fives. You can even train them to do like more complicated obstacle courses like jumping over rabbit jumps and then going through tunnels, and it can be lots of fun. Lots of fun for you and lots of fun for your rabbit. Because for your rabbit, this is a chance for them to use their minds. This is a great mental enrichment where they get to figure out what they need to do to get those yummy treats. This is also a great bonding activity for you and a rabbit because they'll be spending time with you, and they'll also be learning to trust you because they know once they do their trick, once they do what they're supposed to, then they'll get a treat from you, and they have to learn to trust that you will give them their treat. And it's just a great way to bond with your rabbit and to make sure that they are getting exercise and staying active. Another thing you can do is create a digging box for your rabbit. So I do have a video about how to make a DIY digging box that I will link to here. The idea is to just use a cardboard box and put something that your rabbit will want to dig into inside. You can put some little treats in so they can forage for their food and be rewarded for using the digging box. It keeps them active because they'll be digging and foraging, and they will also hopefully be digging into the box instead of digging into your carpet or something that you don't want them to dig into. So that's double points here, because keep them active and you keep them out of trouble. Another thing you can do to make sure that your rabbit gets enough exercise is to free roam your rabbit, or allow them to roam your house all day long without an enclosure. Now, there are definitely steps you have to make sure that it is safe for you to do this with your rabbit. So rabbit proofing your house and litter training them and that kind of thing. But it's something that means that your rabbit will no longer have to wait till you have time to supervise them to get out and exercise in a wider area. Another tip I have for you is to make sure that you give your rabbit a large enclosure. This will ensure that they can get some exercise during the day and during the times when you can't directly supervise them. Unfortunately, a lot of pet stores and online stores sell rabbit cages and enclosures that are really much too small for them. In order to keep your rabbit healthy and give them more chance to exercise and move around on a regular basis, you really want to get them a very large enclosure. My recommendation is to get a rabbit pen, a rabbit exercise pen, as their main enclosure, rather than getting what is marketed as a rabbit cage. I do have a video going over all of the different types of rabbit enclosures that you might get. and like which ones are good, which ones are bad, how can you increase the amount of space that your rabbit has. And I really do recommend going and checking out that video. It's really got a lot of information about you, about how to make sure that your rabbit is healthy, even if you are not able to free roam them in your house. Another thing to think about when making sure your rabbit is getting enough exercise is the time of day that you're letting them out. Rabbits tend to be most active in the morning and the evening. By nature, they are crepuscular, which means that they're most active in dawn and dusk, and then will sleep more during the day and in the middle of the night. So to encourage your rabbit to get more exercise, consider giving them access to a wider space during the times of day when they will naturally be more active. Now, if this is not a change you can make, rabbits can still get used to just about any schedule. As long as the routine is on a regular basis, your rabbit will end up getting used to it. For example, Ellie tends to follow me to the kitchen for lunch every day because she knows she might get a little bit of a treat from the fridge. And so she loves following me in there, and it ends up being a time of day where she's actually a little bit more active because she gets excited about, what she's going to get from the fridge. Keeping a regular schedule is actually more important. But if you can, they will be more naturally active at dawn and dusk. So giving them those times to have access to a wider area is encouraged. Another thing you can do to encourage your rabbit to be more active is to make sure you give them lots of attention. So rabbits are actually very social animals. In the wild, they would naturally live in a family group where they would have social friends, and there's a social hierarchy, and they would really interact a lot with each other. So pet rabbits also need that kind of social interaction. And if not, they are more likely to become depressed or lonely, and they'll sit around more because of how they're feeling. Even though you're not another rabbit, you can still hang out with your rabbit, give them a lot of attention to make sure that they get that socialization that they need in order to continue to have that happy bunny energy. Or if possible, you can even introduce another rabbit, and then you won't need to worry about giving your rabbit as much attention because there will be a second rabbit there and they can socialize with each other. Foraging activities are a great way to help keep your rabbit active. They can sniff around for those yummy treats and be active trying to figure out how to get them. For this kind of thing, you would use puzzle toys, for example, a treat ball where your rabbit has to roll it around to get the treats out. I actually use this for some of her daily pellets so that she's not getting all of her pellets at once and can slow down her eating a little bit. She rolls the ball around and then will slowly forage for the pellets that come out of the ball. You can also hide little treats or maybe dried herbs or something in their little hay pile. It encourages them to sniff around for those yummy treats and also will probably help them to eat more hay. You can also just hide little treats around the room, see if they can find them. It will encourage them to go explore new places and be active because you never know where they're going to find a new little treat. One thing that can really ignite the curiosity of a little rabbit is when you rearrange the room a little bit. You don't even have to do a major rearranging of the furniture, just moving one or two pieces of furniture a little bit, like moving a chair from one side of the room to the other. Because while to us a chair is just a small part of a room, to a rabbit it's still pretty big, and it's a pretty big change because you're just a little bunny. Occasionally just, move something around, give your rabbit something to be interested in, and they'll be more likely to go explore and be active as they check out this change in the room. The next tip I have for you is to rotate their toys. So this means taking away some of their old toys and giving them new toys occasionally, and then rotating in and out which ones they have access to. This will prevent your rabbit from getting bored of having all the same toys all the time, and will help them kind of be re-interested in toys that they have forgotten about or they haven't seen in a long time. So it's a way to keep them interested in their toys and occasionally give them something new, see what else they'll be interested in. So like I said before, you want to make sure your rabbit has a variety of toys, but you also want to occasionally, switch them out. And the last tip that I have for you is to give your rabbit places that they can hide or tunnels that they can go through. Basically places where they can explore while also feeling hidden. A lot of times rabbits will like to try to find different places where they can be out of view. Being prey animals, they just kind of naturally will try to find places where they can hide. So giving them lots of these different places will encourage your rabbit to explore a little bit more throughout the room. So you can put like tunnels underneath a sofa, or you can make a little cave underneath a chair, or you can give them some cardboard boxes that you can use as hiding houses, or make a little castle out of them for your rabbits to go inside. You can be pretty creative with what you do with your furniture and what you do with other cardboard boxes, or you can, purchase cat trees that have a little cave in them, or even tunnels that are made for small animals. It can be great ways to help your rabbit just explore a little bit and feel safe and be really excited about the environment that they live in. And then also change it up every once in a while. Make their little bunny obstacle course a little bit different, so that then they don't get bored of it and they will continue to be interested in exploring new places. So if you found these ideas helpful and want to try them out, then give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can know that this was useful to you, and maybe it'll recommend it to some other people also. And feel free to hit that little subscription button and the notification bell so you know when all my new videos come out. Thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that I will see you next time.